I'm Sally Payne and I was a member of Oxford Scout and Guide Club from 1986 to 1989 and then stayed on as an indie member of SSAGO until 1992. I also got involved in Witan. I attended Witan 88 and organised Witan 90 in Holland. Okay, so I was trained as an occupational therapist. I was not a member of the university, but joined the university club. So for me, that was a great way to experience some of the university things that were going on. My friend Jane and I used to go over on a Monday evening to the activities. I can remember particularly a cheese and wine evening down in one of the colleges, and we lived up in Headington, so wobbling our way back up Headington Hill on our bikes afterwards, wondering if it was allowed to be drunk in charge of a bike, so that was a memorable one. We also did punting, and it was quite a big club at that time, so that was good fun, several punts out at the same time. While I was there, the club had, I think it was its 80th birthday, could have got that wrong, but we had a big dinner in one of the colleges, and the chief scout at the time, who I think was George Purdy, came to that anniversary dinner, which was great. So we had a member of the committee who was the port minder, and it was their job to make sure there was port after every meal that we had. And after this anniversary dinner, we all went back to somebody's digs somewhere in the back end of Oxford, and I found myself sitting in this dingy student digs with the chief scout drinking port, which was one of the more surreal memories I have of the Scout and Guide Club. I went to Witan 88 as a participant, and that was the one that was in the UK, which was great. It was a fairly small one, can't remember how many participants, but there were international scouts from Italy, Germany, Canada, America, so quite a broad range of people. Really good, had a really good time. And it was as a result of attending that we, the UK contingent, offered to organise the next one. There wasn't an international group that was big enough to organise the next Witan in their own country, so we took on the job of organising Witan 90 as a UK committee, but in Holland, which is somewhere that I'd camped before, so we took it abroad that way. And it was a brilliant experience, organising it, trying to get everybody together, managing the budgets, getting sponsorship, organising the uniforms, organising the activities. Yeah, brilliant experience. The local mayor, met with him on one of our previous recce trips, and we did various projects such as painting a children's playground and a couple of other things. It was a very hot day when we were doing it. At the end of the day, we'd been invited to go back to the mayor's place, town hall, and he gave the group a tour of his town hall, and I wasn't there. One of the other people came back absolutely splitting their sides afterwards, because he'd shown them all the paintings around the walls, and this is where we had the members of the royal family, and they all had to keep a very straight face and not look at each other when they were, yes, that's great. Yeah. First rally was in my first term of being a student in 1986. That was up in Preston Way. I didn't go to every rally during my time, because sometimes I was on placement. It was a bit tricky to manage them all. I think it was the end of my first summer rally. I was on placement at the time and went back into the hospital wards on the Monday morning hobbling, and my supervisor said to me, you know, what have you been doing this weekend? So I explained a little bit, and the reason I was hobbling is that I'd fallen off the top of a human pyramid and had sprained my knee, so that was a tad embarrassing. Not quite as embarrassing as after a Cambridge rally, when a bunch of people after the silly games came off their bikes, so we cycled to the silly games and back again, and they were taken off to the hospital and had to explain why they had lard smeared on the inside of their thighs and rope burns around their ankles. So that was interesting in A&E, I'm sure. So yeah, rallies were great fun, and mostly without incident. I can tell you what hasn't changed, and that's the people. We went to a rally probably 20 years ago when I was chair of SSAGO at the time and was asked to be returning officer for one of the AGMs, and it was just like walking back into a rally when I was there. People were wearing pretty similar clothes because the stuff you wear to rallies is pretty similar, so that was great and everybody was very friendly. I think on our rallies we were indoors for the spring and winter rallies, so it was always accommodation, and you ended up sleeping on floors and on tables and all sorts of weird and wonderful places, completely against fire regulations, which probably didn't exist in those days. And it was only the summer rally that was under canvas, so that's definitely a change, I think. Well, I'm a member because my parents are still members, so I'd sort of grown up attending SSAGO events from a young age, but when I graduated after my training, for me it was a way of keeping in touch with people. Made some really good friends, especially through Witan, and a whole group of Witan, ex-Witan people joined SSAGO at the same time, and it was a really good way for us to keep in touch. And in fact we set up our own group, so Birmingham SSAGO was made up of ex-Witan 90 committee and other people in the first place. And although we call it Birmingham SSAGO, the region extends from Cardiff to Burton-on-Trent, so it's really just a name for a group of people. So that's really important to me. But what I get out of it now is, as an active scouter, the opportunity to share ideas. That often happens at the end of the evening with a glass of wine and a bit of cheese in your hand, or around the campfire, or the washing up bowl, or whatever. Talking about things that has happened in the scout troop, and other people have got ideas about, you know, how you could do things differently or make things better, and you just get so much support when things haven't gone so well, but also ideas and inspiration for new things to do. It's a brilliant source of ideas and resources.